Letting go of control and being in alignment with the universe is what's going to bring you closer to a more spiritual path, ultimately improving the quality of your life substantially. Learning how to go with the flow of life is the key for your well-being, this being one of the most fundamental lessons you must learn about the field of spirituality. Life should be lived as though you are the observer, not the main driving force behind it. But before you jump to any conclusions, let me explain in greater detail why this is one of the most important concepts you will discover in your life. When it comes to spirituality, many people consider this field as some sort of woo-woo conversations, wishful thinking with little to no implications in real life, and that, of course, couldn't be any further from the truth. If you've watched my other video on spirituality, then you're already familiar with the fact that spirituality is the process of making the mind free from fears, worries, non-stop thinking, and experiencing inner peace and bliss in one's everyday life. Spirituality is about making peace with the universe. It is about accepting the facts as they are and trying to live in harmony. It is about training yourself to be less reactive to the events happening in your life by freeing yourself from the monkey mind. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because, contrary to what most people believe, the field of spirituality is very practical, and this video is all about exploring a concept that will radically improve your life. You see, when it comes to experiencing inner bliss, the ego is the single biggest obstacle in achieving that, because it's all about power, control, lies, manipulation, status, and material possessions. For the ego, life is a game that must be played only by its rules because it sees itself as the center of the universe. Nothing else matters outside of its inner circle of family, friends, and interests. For the ego, life is a constant battle, a battle that serves only towards fulfilling its own agenda. Whatever you define as your needs has nothing to do with your true self, but rather to what you've been tricked into believing you lack in your life. You see, the ego is the one who's dictating your whole life, and this is where all your problems are coming from. According to the definition mentioned at the beginning, life should be about making peace with the universe. It should be about living in harmony, and the only way to achieve that is by training yourself to be less reactive to the events happening in your life. But how can you do that when all you care about is yourself? How can life and the universe flow through you if you live in a constant denial about who you truly are by ignoring your highest call and potential? You see, that cannot happen because you are rejecting the flow of life by trying to control and to manipulate things to go in your favor. In short, you do not live in harmony, and now it is time for you to consider and to embrace another possibility. What if you have no control over what's happening in your life? What if everything you ever did has nothing to do with your decision-making process? The university you went to, your friends, your car, your family, your job. What if none of these choices were yours? What if all the lies, control, and the manipulation of situations have led you to the exact same position you were meant to be anyway? Just take a moment to grasp the significance of what's being said here. Did you get it? I know. This discussion inevitably sends us to the old philosophical question whether free will exists or not. And yes, what I'm claiming here is that free will doesn't exist for the reasons I will explain in just a moment. You see, the only reason you might think you are in control is purely because this is how your ego gets its sense of self and of reality. This is how it operates and how it functions. But in reality, there is no such thing such as a self. There is no such thing as the ego. Thus, there is absolutely no one that can be in control. Free will doesn't exist because there is no self to begin with. I know this may be a bit hard to understand, especially if you have never experienced an ego death, and I promise we will dive deeper into this aspect in the future. However, for the purpose of this video, just take into consideration what this whole idea means to you. It means no more struggles, no more worries, no more lies, no more manipulation, and no more control. The idea of sitting back and observing life as it unfolds without getting attached to any outcome, depressed because things don't go your way, or sad because you cannot fulfill all your ego's needs is life-changing. And all it takes to get to this point in your life is to surrender the ego and let go of control. This is what almost every Enlightenment master will try to teach you, as this concept stays right at the core of spirituality. But of course, you don't have to believe me nor anybody else. You'll have to derive this insight from your own experience by doing the spiritual work that's required. Being selfless is something that can be verified, and once you'll be done with that, I hope you'll be able to see that there is nothing to fight for. The idea of having to be in control is an illusion. Let life flow through you, sit back, enjoy, and relax. This is what's going to lead you to ultimate peace, love, and happiness.